So we both went to Kelly Elementary growing up, and we were in a school shooting, which I this might be the first time I've talked about it on the podcast, although I'm not trying to avoid talking about it. But my experience, I was fourth grade, up the grade above you, and we were lucky that we had a field trip to the GIA on the day of the school shooting, and so I don't think any of the cars from the field trip were back on campus, but like inside campus, but my car was one of the first cars back, and we were like pulling up during the shooting, and so it was like you could hear the gunshots, but it wasn't like, at least for me, it wasn't traumatizing because I couldn't even really comprehend what was happening. Like you used to have the parent driver, so like our car came back and there was loud noises, and they were like, we're not going into the school, so we're gonna wait in the car. And the streets were blocked off because they blocked off the other cars from returning to the school. But we obviously weren't gonna get out of the car and go into the school they were shooting. So then it just was like this weird thing where we sat in the car for like an hour, and then we went to some kid's house who lived right next to the school for like 3 hours. But it wasn't like super traumatizing for me.
Yeah.
I am aware though that I heard upon research that you had like panic attacks and anxiety as a result of the school shooting.
Yeah. I don't know how much.
Could you elaborate?
I don't know how much that was related, like looking back.
No.
Because I felt a similar experience during it. I was really scared, but I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah, he was like, you're so young. And another thing I try to tell people when I tell them the story is that none of the other school shootings, like the big ones like Parkland, none of them had happened. So it wasn't like we're having a school shooting.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Like none of us knew what it was.
I thought it was a drill. That's what I thought it was. But then like the lunch lady's like, run.
Okay, wait, actually, I'm so curious because everyone I've spoke to has been in my grade, so they all have the GIA experience. Can you actually just like...
Yeah, I'll talk about what happened. So I'm sitting in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe I remember this vividly.
Yeah.
And, dang. So I was sitting in the cafeteria, and yeah, the guy just comes sprinting like across the field, and Kelly's like, the cafeteria is like right here. The field is over here, big, like a giant field. And there's kind of like an opening over on that side. That's where he's coming from.
Yeah, I think he hopped the fence.
Or something. I don't even remember paying attention to that, but you just see him sprinting across the field, and he just starts shooting while he's sprinting. And I remember seeing like a bag. He was like carrying a bag. I remember actually explaining that to people. I don't actually remember that.
Wait, this is funny because I'm seeing like differences in like our story. Because mine was low-key, I was there, but it was also low-key word of mouth. You know, what I was told is that he had a plastic jack-o'-lantern from like Target that you go to Halloween with.
Whoa.
And he was like skipping towards the school, and he was like free candy, and then he pulled like a pistol out of it. That's what I heard, and I've heard that from a lot of people, so I think that part of the story is true. But the other thing I heard, which I'm curious if you heard, is that I heard he didn't actually aim at kids, and that he just like spun or went like this and just started like shooting. But I don't know. I don't know.
I remember, all I can say, I remember him just sprinting, carrying a bag, and like running across the field and just going boom, 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 boom.
Oh my God.
And then
that's crazy.
So the lunch lady's like, run. I was like, what is that? And people are like, oh, it's just shells. Like, it's a drill.
Oh, so they straight up they thought it was real too?
Yeah. Like, who was there?
Oh my God.
Lucas Schmidt and Carson Scott.
I remember Carson Scott. And
they're like, I think it's just a drill.
And so what? Did you just keep chilling at the...
So I'm just chilling for a sec. They say run, and I'm like, okay, let me run to my classroom. My classroom, so the lunch area is here, then there's just rows of classrooms, right? So I just sprint. My classroom's all the way in the back. I just sprint back to my classroom.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing my teacher, Mrs. Webb.
Yeah.
So we were going to have, it was Friday. We were just going to lunch, and she, she had a meeting.
Yeah.
So we were going to have a substitute. So she was like not going to be there. So she was in her meeting or something.
Yeah.
And we were all sprinting and she like comes out. I remember like stopping right in front of her.
Yeah.
Or she was like right in front of me, like right here. And she's like, what's going on? And she was like kind of panicked.
Yeah.
And I remember that being fuzzy. And I'm like,
Interesting.
dude, just run. Like, we got to go to your classroom.
Dude, that's... And
then we go to the classroom and we're just in lockdown. And I had nobody really knew what was going on. We're in lockdown for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And you can't, I don't know, that's an age where you're pretty young, so you don't all the way understand. But I mean, as you can imagine, your mind can like still race a little bit. And
did you have a SWAT guy like knock on the door or anything?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It was just
interesting.
It was kind of crazy. We played a movie.
Yeah. It's so interesting, like going through all those different stories. One of my best friends, Austin Lamontagne, his mom taught at Kelly. And
This is Lamontagne.
This Lamontagne.
Holy crap, I had her for first grade. That's crazy.
So I see her all the time because he's like one of my best friends.
Do you really?
Yeah, because I just go to his house.
What he's doing?
And she tells these stories about like one of the girls. So 2 girls got shot in the arm. No one died.
Yeah.
One of the girls who got shot in the arm went into her classroom.
No freaking.
So there was blood on the floor, but it was like, so her classroom became like a crime scene. What I also heard from my other friends, which I'm surprised that you didn't happen, is I heard that there was a SWAT guy who like walked around and like knocked and went into.
Dude, there might have been. I don't remember.
But I remember that it actually made people scared because they were like, there's a shooter, and then this friggin' SWAT guy with like an AK is like walking around the school. My experience was different because they blocked off the ends of the street to go to Kelly, so we couldn't leave either, but we couldn't enter the school. And so then eventually Gordy Nippert lived in one of the houses, and he was like, do you guys want to go to my house? And we like went to his house and like watched a Disney movie for like 3 hours. But I remember just being so bored and like calling my mom, and she was freaking out. And
that's wild. Yeah.
I feel like one of my friends told me that someone took a dump in like remember the bucket, the like emergency bucket bathrooms that we had?
No way.
That's what I remember. I don't know why that stands out to you. We had like emergency bucket bathrooms.
That's bad.
And he said that like in their 3 hours, someone had to use it or something.
That's bad. Dude, now that I think about this, I remember being like scared, like feeling my kind of heart like pound.
Mm-hmm.
And like freaking out a little, because when I was little I used to get scared of that, like natural disasters. I get really scared of that stuff.
Interesting. Natural disasters.
Like anything that showed, like I remember watching something in 2nd grade, and it showed like it was talking about volcanoes. It was like, if this volcano erupts, we're all dead. And I would panic when I heard stuff like that. So then this happened. I remember freaking out, and then I remember actually later, like there would be lockdowns. And those would really when we had lockdowns, it would really freak me out.
Interesting.
So definitely there was anxiety after that. Now I'm thinking back to it.
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, this is like a side tangent, but my brother, who was like 10 years older than me, he used to put on this show. It was like 1,000 Ways to Die or something, and literally every episode was just like a different way of dying. I don't know who made that show, because now that I'm looking back, that's such a weird show. It would just like, the first part of the show would be like some reenactment of like a weird death, and the second part would be like explaining like, is the death painful, is it,
oh my God.
I don't know why he would watch it, and then I would just watch it because he'd watch it, and it would make me scared of like the most random it's like a random memory I'm just having right now. But back to like the anxiety and panic attacks. In the video I watched, your mom was like, she said that after the school shooting that you couldn't, like, you didn't want to go to school.
I remember that now. I did not want to go to school at all. After the shooting that night, I was like up all night too.
That's so interesting, bro. I don't know, like, it literally, I could be just delusional because it was like, I was like a kid. For all I know, I could have been scared, but like the way I remember it, it like did not affect my life at all. I just remember going back to school and we got like a week off and there was therapy dogs all over campus. Like,
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
We got therapy dogs and then we got a trip to Legoland and I don't know, like it just, but it's interesting because your mom said that you had to learn like emotional skills at a young age because she didn't want you to have panic attacks.
Yeah, I did. I think I had a better... I like got that feeling of anxiety at a really young age. And I don't know, during that shooting, it just like, it was easy to set it off.
Yeah.
Like now I still get some anxiousness sometimes, but it's like, I know it's not that big of a deal, you know?
Yeah.
Back then it's like, holy crap.
Wait, so what though, like, what made you like overcome it? Because in the same video, your mom's like, dude, he has the best emotional intelligence of like any kid.
I don't know. I kind of
like, was there like, did you like go to therapy as a kid, or was
I
it?
think I did.
Just
I did go to therapy a little bit.
Or,
3 principles helped a lot to realize like, the big thing with the 3 principles, it's like, it's just your thinking, and your thinking doesn't really mean anything. Like you don't have to listen to this negative thinking. It's like, it's just there, and you don't have to indulge and like listen to those thoughts kind of thing. Like it's just there, so just let it be there.
Yeah.
You just let it be there, and that helped me a lot. And then just I just kind of grew out of it in a way, and
growing up,
I think helped a lot.